Alex and Zoolander, take one, action.
Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah.
We
All
got
right,
it.
here we go. Okay. Yo, what do they call me? They call me Devin Zoolander. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. Yeah, they call me Devin Zoolander. What's good for the goose is good for the gander.
Okay.
And I look good on camera.
Oh.
You know I look good on camera. Now, before I introduce my guest, my special guest today, I have to start us out with some music. Now, the only thing is, my guest does not have anything online. No arrest, no anything, just nothing. Like, she's just like, how did you do that? Like, how did you? But it's okay. So we're just going to play a song just to get us in the right mood.
I feel all the vibes.
Yeah. Okay. Let me turn that down a little bit. There we go, right there, all the way down. Okay. And now what's really fun is that normally when I have a lot of information about a person, you know, I can have a really cute intro, but because we don't have that, then we're going to improvise, but it's all good. And I'm gonna stop saying that before you leave and be like, yo, dog, you got one more passive aggressive shot at taking me before
My bad.
I call Ray Ray and them, and I don't even know who Ray Ray is. But anyway, all right.
I'm here now. That's all that matters.
Yeah, that's all that matters. That's what I care about. Okay, let me turn on the beat real quick so I can get you straight and stop playing around. Okay, this will do. Okay, I am so excited because to my left, I have a woman that I just became acquainted with on social media. And I know what you're thinking, Dev. Well, what is it that's so special about the woman to my right that would make you want to bring her on the show? I'll be honest. I'm still figuring that out. You go to an Instagram account, you see 3 posts up. You start to be like, okay, I get it. 1 post, middle finger, yeah, F y'all, whatever. You didn't say that in the caption, but I said that in my head. And then you look at another post, it's just like, oh, so comfy and cool. Is that a couch? Wow, is that an Airbnb? So you see that, it's like, all right, cool. And then you see, and like what I love about my guest is that everything is still loading. It's very minimalist. It's very like, it's almost like a starter home, your accounts and everything. And I appreciate that because a person like me, there's a lot of stuff out there. But then again, I guess because I'm trying to be in this industry a certain way. But for you,
That's a good way to put it.
yeah.
Yeah, I like that description.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But for you, I was just really impressed just because I feel like there's a mystique about you that hopefully we can uncover some layers today. Okay. And, you know, I'm not going to belabor this anymore, but without further ado, I would like to introduce to you a woman that I'm very excited to talk to today. So please put your hands together for the one and only Alex Allen.
I love it. Thank you.
First of all, where are you from?
I am from Monroeville, basically born and raised. Yeah, Monroeville. That's it.
Monroeville.
Yeah.
So you went for all your school. You was at Monroeville.
Mm-hmm.
All right. What'd you do in high school? Gateway, right?
Gateway.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you play in sports?
Gateway, I was a cheerleader. Or high school, I was a cheerleader. Middle school, softball. And then once I got a little bit older, I started to become a lot more girly. So I kind of hung up the cleats.
Okay.
And decided to pick up the pom-poms.
Okay.
And I was a cheerleader all through high school.
All through high school.
Mm-hmm. Actually, just my last 2 years, but it was pretty big. We did like football, basketball. We did all the games, away and home. So cheerleading was basically like my life.
Right.
Yeah.
Did you ever think about doing it professionally, or did you always know this is only going to be a high school thing for me?
No, I wasn't one of those cheerleaders that was ever able to flip. So
okay.
Yeah, I knew that it wasn't going to go much farther than high school.
Right.
Yeah.
So you were kicking and ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
And all that. Like,
Yeah, that was about it. That was
about
all
it.
he was getting out of me. Yeah.
So you wasn't on top of any pyramids.
No, I was one of the taller ones, so I was on the bottom.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, it goes off of height, so I was always the ones picking them up, throwing them up in the air.
Well, you know, it's funny because when you see movies like Bring It On and you see different ones where cheerleaders are prominently featured, you always wonder, man, I hope that everybody is on the same page, because if somebody is mad at somebody because you tried to talk to my man or you took my spot on this club or something like that, then just for a momentary moment, like you could have a lapse and somebody could get hurt.
It's very important, yeah.
Yeah.
I've had a few, I actually sprained both my shoulders. I had braces in high school, so I had a busted lip before. It gets real.
Wow.
Cheerleading, it gets real.
Wow.
Nothing ever like drama related. Everything was an accident, but yeah, it gets real.
But it's intense.
Yeah.
I think a lot about the competitions and everything that happens, and just I don't know. I think there's a lot of pressure, I think, on y'all to look good, to sound good, to have energy, to go through stuff personally, but be able to compartmentalize it enough to be able to do your thing. So I definitely commend you on doing that throughout high school, even though it gave you a couple injuries.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
So you're fully recovered now?
I actually still have bad shoulders still to this day. Yeah.
So
like if I put my arm up a certain way, my shoulder will pop. Anytime I'm working out, I feel it. So I have to really take it easy on my shoulders. It's weird.
Yeah.
That many years later, I can still feel it.
If you don't mind me asking, what were you doing when you injured your shoulders?
Stunting.
Okay.
Yep. So it was a lot of, so we throw the flyer, that's what we call it, up in the air. And somebody got to catch her. So we were the ones at the bottom catching her. And every time we practiced, that, I guess the pressure of her coming down so hard, my shoulders every single time just was popping out of place. My uncle's a chiropractor though, so I've like been to visits with him trying to like recover it, but there was one that was worse than the other, but at this point I forget which one it is. They're both just bad. Yeah. It's just with old age, I guess it's just all coming. It's just all hitting me.
And this, the old age of 27.
Yeah. No, for real, you start to feel it.
I feel you though.
Yeah, all the cracks and bend over, everything's cracking and waking up. Yeah, you start to feel everything.
Well, I mean, that definitely is a good deal of pain there. And I think what you've just proved, if anybody ever questioned it, is that cheerleaders are 100% athletes, and when you see them, you should respect them as such, because they're not, just because they don't have football pads on, doesn't mean that they're not putting their bodies through tremendous rigor and activity.
Yeah, definitely. More so like the competitive cheer. Those are the ones that a lot of the times they're stronger than men too. Competitive cheerleaders. They're strong as hell.
Yeah.
Can I cuss?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, they're strong as hell.
Yeah. You can curse.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting, because I think about, so here's what I want you to talk about. Remember summertime, we had the Olympics, and there was a lot of news surrounding Simone Biles, and when she got what she called the twisties. Now, a lot of us that aren't into gymnastics or even cheerleading or anything like that, we don't know what the twisties are. But have you ever heard of that before? I think it's something about, it's more of like a mental, a mental block where you're up in the air, and I think when you're twisting, you might be overthinking something. And
that's easy to happen.
Right.
Yeah. But like I said, I was never able to flip.
Right. So you never had to worry about that.
Yeah, no, I never had to worry about that. I wasn't. I was always able to flip on a trampoline, but I was always too scared to do it on the ground.
Right.
I didn't want to break a neck. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. I never even heard of
the twisties.
Yeah, maybe I'm not a real cheerleader.
No. I mean, well, no, you are. I think though, when you start getting into like gymnastics, especially at the level where she's at, I think it's just something that they probably know what it is. And because she's been so dominant and everybody's calling her the GOAT, and she has all this like public support, it's almost like you have to live up to that, because if I'm Michael Jordan or LeBron or Serena Williams and someone's calling me the GOAT, then it's like, I got to keep doing GOAT stuff. Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. So, I just brought that up just because I think about how hard it is to perform at that level, and how if you're not all the all right, let me drink some water.
There you go.
Let me chew this too. Sorry, y'all.
I can kind of say too that my experience with cheering was always just for fun. It was never, I mean, we did, as a high school squad, we did a little bit of competitive cheer, but we were terrible. But yeah, it was always for fun. It's funny because my dad actually didn't want me to do gymnastics because he always thought that like gymnasts were built funny.
Oh.
So he didn't want me.
Okay.
He didn't want me to have like that muscular built.
Right.
So he told my mom, he's like, nah, she ain't doing gymnastics.
Okay. I mean, I guess it worked out because if you're not flipping and cheerleading, then
Right.
you're damn sure not doing gymnastics.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's all good. I appreciate that because obviously, like you said, you are deliberately secretive about things about your life and about your past. But I think that all of the viewers and listeners that will be tuning into this, they'll appreciate that you have that background because I think, or you know what, I won't speak for other people. I'll use I statements. I think I sometimes misread or I sometimes don't look at women who seem to be aesthetically pleasing, really beautiful, and also they're in the beauty industry. So I think it might be easy in my mind to come up with an idea of who you are. So it's kind of like how we say, stuck up, or light skin, or biracial, whatever like that. And I appreciate just from you sharing that, you're giving me a glimpse into who you truly are and why it's really important to allow people to show you and tell you who they are as opposed to already thinking you know who they are before they even say anything.
Right.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for sharing. Now to move along, you graduated, what year did you graduate?
2012.
2012. All right. So in 2012, what did you do after graduation?
After graduation, I went straight to college. I went to IUP and then I transferred to Cal. Don't ask why, but transferred to Cal. I got pregnant my junior year, I believe. Yeah, junior year of college. I still graduated on time though, but a lot of it was just making the transition to become a mom first. And then school kind of came after that. And then just, the whole adulting thing, working, and I did all three simultaneously. So it was a bit difficult, but yeah, that's where I headed straight out of high school.
Yeah.
A lot of people didn't think that that's where I was going to go. I didn't think that was where I was going to go. As far as like getting pregnant straight out of high school, but yeah, that's what happened.
Well, I mean, that is something that definitely happens. And I think that we're living in a time now where it's not as much shame that's attached to it. But maybe back then in 2012, it might have been because I don't think we were as advanced in 2012 as we are in 2021. So I just hope that while you were going through that your family and friends were supportive. And
definitely.
Yeah,
I feel like just as like a kid, it's traumatizing. But once the child is actually here, once you grow up a little bit, it becomes a lot easier.
Yeah, I not to get too heavy, but I often think about the conversation, the never-ending conversation around pro-choice versus pro-life as far as abortion is concerned. And I think that, well, first of all, let me just affirm that, I definitely am pro-choice, and I think I definitely believe a woman has the right to make decisions with her body on her own and not thinking about what a guy has to say. I guess I'm just also, as I'm listening to you talk about it, when you and your child's father, when you decided we're going to have this child, was there ever like any hesitation?
I mean, it wasn't planned, but we were kids. We were hard-headed. There was a lot of voices in our head telling us not to, but We were kids. So it was just kind of like, I got this. I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Trying to be grown, that whole thing. But yeah. I don't want to say there was hesitation, but just like I said, we were kids. We had voices in our heads, just like our parents, and telling us what they think we should do. But we kind of just, obviously, she's here now, so
Yeah, she sure is.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that she's here. I'm glad that you both are doing a great job of raising her. And I think that it's really important because some people, I think I asked a question earlier on Facebook about do you want to get married, or would you rather be single or in a relationship that isn't necessarily headed towards marriage? And at first I thought a lot of people were going to be like marriage, but then as I was looking through the comments, I started to see people with varying responses where they were saying things like, well, you know what? I've been divorced and I'm okay right now. I just like to date, or I don't know if I want marriage or anything like that. So for you, what are your views on marriage?
I feel like nowadays a lot of people don't even believe in marriage anymore, but I think personally that it's definitely a thing. Love is real. And I think that, I don't know, it's kind of like disheartening to know that like the society that we're in today, everyone just feels like we all got to be players and everybody's dating everybody. And I don't know. I just never liked that. I definitely believe in marriage though. Obviously I'm not married, but I do have a man. And one day I do see myself marrying for sure. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't like how the society kind of portrays our era to be, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Everyone's just messing with everybody. I hate it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is interesting. I think between social media, the music, just the media in general, I think there might be a lot of pressure on people to keep their options open. And you start hearing people saying stuff like a man is only as faithful as his options, which obviously I could see how someone could have an issue with that, or a woman is only as faithful as her options. I guess for me, as someone that is not married and that is currently single, I really don't know. I think about, like, sometimes I think I'm supposed to be married, but like, I think thinking that you're supposed to do something and believing that you actually want to do something are two different things. And I think what I'm trying to reconcile is, like, now at 35, like, I don't have to worry about menopause or a biological clock the way women do. But at the same time, I think sometimes I feel like I'm not saying that kids keep you from living, but sometimes I feel like a late bloomer that is just finally starting to live. And also realizing how selfish I am just on the everyday. Like I tell people sometimes, you know, I'll be driving, I'm done Ubering, and then out of nowhere, you know, I'll be on the south side and I'll be like, yo, I got to get that $70 jacket from Urban Outfitters. And it's just like, do you really need that? No. 2 months from now, you still like it? No. There was a point in you blowing your money on that. I don't know.
Right.
But I know that a lot of that comes from some immaturity, but also I think me enjoying just being on my own.
That independence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're all different, but I don't know. For me, I think marriage, it could happen. It's just that right now I'm so far away from it. And I think for you being in a relationship where you can see the light at the end of that tunnel, it might. And also when you think about stability, even though obviously people can create a child and co-parent and everything like that, I feel like just where I am without having a child and without, and also thinking about just trying to work on myself and trying to heal from dumb shit that I've done, or just relationships I might have pursued that were really me exhibiting signs of low self-esteem. I think there's a lot that I probably need to work out in like a therapy session or something before I can wholly give myself to someone in a way that will be healthy and productive for the both of us.
Yeah. I think a lot of that comes too from what we see on social media. A lot of people portray what you want them to see. So a lot of people are like posting fake relationships, or the relationship might be real, but the happiness, so to say, might be fake. And a lot of people feel like, oh, I'm supposed to be married right now, or I'm supposed to have a kid by now, or whatever it is. And that's not true. Who said you're supposed to do anything at that time in your life? No one ever said that. It's just what like society and social media portrays to the world. So we all feel like we're supposed to be in a position that we might not be in yet. But I feel like there's everyone's timing is different. And there's never a right time for anything. It's just everyone's path and everyone's journey is different.